A lot of developers ask me the same question. They're like, hey, look at this fancy chart. Google can clearly render JavaScript without any problems. I don't have to change anything. The problem is, on that same document, if you scroll up, Google has updated their documentation to make it pretty clear that they prefer server-side rendering, static rendering, or hydration. If you want to learn more about JavaScript SEO, I suggest you go to ohmycrawl.com and check out the case study I put up. In fact, it's right in the description below. Obviously, we did a lot more stuff to this client's website, but once they dialed in their technical SEO, they were able to achieve really great results in the finance niche, which generally speaking is super competitive. One of the many things we did, and I think it's a really great example for this video, is that when they changed their navigation links without notifying us, their traffic just dropped by around 30%. Once they changed it back to server-side rendering by our recommendation, their traffic returned to normal levels around a month and a half later. In SEO, it's kind of like a battle. If all of your competitors are doing something and you're not, chances are you're going to lose out. Let's use my website as an example, ohmycrawl.com, and let's check the cache to kind of prove a point. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is Google your website name or the page you want to investigate and put site colon in front of it. From there, just find the page in the list you want to have a look at, click the three dots and click cached. And this is basically a view into how Google perceives your website. This is what Google cached on pretty recently. And if I scroll down, it's all visually pretty obvious what's going on. In fact, I can view the source code, and if I look for, say, the H1, I can see that everything is rendering properly. It's very easy to identify. There's kind of like no secrets. This whole website is rendered server-side. Let's use my website as an example, ohmycrawl.com, and let's check the cache to kind of prove a point. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is Google your website name or the page you want to investigate and put site colon in front of it. From there, just find the page in the list you want to have a look at, click the three dots and click cached. And this is basically a view into how Google perceives your website. This is what Google cached on pretty recently. And if I scroll down, it's all visually pretty obvious what's going on. In fact, I can view the source code, and if I look for, say, the H1, I can see that everything is rendering properly. It's very easy to identify. There's kind of like no secrets. This whole website is rendered server-side. On the flip side, if we look at the web cache of a JavaScript-driven website, it's kind of a mess. Like, you can't really see what's going on. Unfortunately, I had to take a screenshot of an old video I made to kind of prove my point here. This client of mine has since fixed this issue, but as you can see, it's very hard to interpret. This is how Google is perceiving your website. And coincidentally, they had all types of indexing issues since Google had trouble crawling their internal links. Here's a different client on the left that I worked on, a completely different React website that took months and months to build and I imagine was quite expensive. On the right is my website, which I built in a weekend virtually for free, on WordPress nonetheless. So it's not so great. Like this website, if we look at the cache, you'll see the screen is completely blank. The one on the right, which is a current cache, it's a server-side rendering. It's pretty obvious what's going on. It's an exact visual representation of my website. If I click on the source code, I can see how Google renders the source code very easily. It's kind of not a black box. Like, we know exactly what's going on. I can look at all the H1s, any type of content that I'm kind of concerned about. On the left, when I did a similar kind of thing, I wasn't able to find any H1s, H2s, etc. And it becomes kind of a black box. You don't really know how search engines are interpreting your content. Using server-side rendering just kind of avoids a lot of issues. If you want more free training just like this video, go to ohmycrawl.com/free and hop on the email list below right here. Thanks.